The Emirates Stadium clock is already ticking. Saturday, April 25th is coming fast. Arsenal know it, the players know it. And right now, inside the training ground at London Colney, every single session this week carries the weight of a season that is not yet decided, but is absolutely at a defining point. Let me tell you exactly where things stand right now. Martin Odegaard is the man Arsenal have put on the front of their next match announcement. The captain, the leader, the player. They are trusting to carry the message of forward focus after a 2-1 defeat at Manchester City that shifted momentum in this title race. The official post from the club said just 2 words: forward focus. That is not an accident. That is a message to the players, to the supporters, and to every pundit who has already started writing Arsenal off. But here is what makes this moment even more charged. Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's most dangerous wide attacker, the player who has been absent and whose absence has been felt in every single big game, is now reported to be ready to return within the next week. That means this Saturday against Newcastle United at the Emirates is a genuine possibility for his return. The gym images are already circulating. He is working, he is loading, he is coming back. At the same time, Newcastle United are arriving at the Emirates carrying problems of their own. Anthony Gordon, their most dangerous forward, missed training this week due to injury and his availability is described as unclear. Tino Livramento is being assessed. And Joelinton, one of their most combative midfielders, is already ruled out through suspension before a ball has even been kicked. So paint the picture clearly in your mind right now. Arsenal at home, Captain Odegaard leading, Saka potentially returning. Opponents arriving depleted, demoralised, sitting 14th in the Premier League, having lost 8 home games in 11 this season. And a title race that, according to Arsene Wenger himself, is still absolutely alive. This is not a moment to be passive. This is not a moment to feel sorry about Manchester City. This is a moment where everything Arsenal have built this season either steps forward or it does not. And that is exactly what we are going to break down today. Every story, every reaction, every transfer rumour, every tactical argument, every piece of team news. Because right now, nothing about this club is small. Every story matters, every decision carries consequences. And if you want to understand the full picture of what is happening at Arsenal at this precise moment in their season, you are in the right place. Stay with me, because this breakdown goes deep, and it starts right now. Before we dive in, understand what is at stake here. Arsenal are in a title race. They are in the Champions League. They have a major home game coming up on Saturday against Newcastle United. Bukayo Saka is reportedly close to returning from injury. Transfer rumours are swirling around the squad and the manager himself is under scrutiny. Every single story we are covering today feeds into one central question. Does Arsenal have what it takes to finish this season as champions, or is the pressure finally catching up with them? If you want this level of deep analysis on every Arsenal story that matters, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to give you the full picture, not just the headlines. Let us get into it. Arsenal official next match announcement. Arsenal's official account posted a next match graphic with Martin Odegaard as the featured player. The caption was simply, forward focus. The game is at Emirates Stadium on Saturday, April 25th. Kick-off at 17:30 United Kingdom time. The opponents are Newcastle United. Now, let us think about this carefully. The club chose Odegaard for this graphic. That is not random. That is a deliberate decision. They are framing this match as an opportunity for their captain to step up and lead from the front. The message to the fan base is clear. Eyes forward, no dwelling on the Manchester City defeat. The next challenge is here, and it is at home. The timing of this post, described as 14 minutes after posting, tells us the club moved quickly to shift the narrative. That matters. It shows institutional awareness that momentum in football, both on and off the pitch, needs to be managed carefully. Bukayo Saka set to return, the now Arsenal account reported. Breaking news from journalist Miguel Delaney. Bukayo Saka is set to return for Arsenal within the next week. Now read that again carefully, within the next week. That means before or around the Newcastle match on Saturday, April 25th. The images show Saka actively working in the gym, clearly in a rehabilitation and loading phase. This is potentially the most important piece of team news Arsenal have received in weeks. Saka has been Arsenal's most dangerous wide attacker this season. His ability to drive at defenders, create chances and score goals is irreplaceable. The fact that his return is now being described as imminent is an enormous boost for Arsenal at exactly the right moment. However, it is important to flag that this is a report. It is not official confirmation from Arsenal Football Club until Arteta confirms it in a press conference or Saka appears in a matchday squad. Treat this as strong but unconfirmed news. The situation is very promising, but it is not yet official. Arsene Wenger believes Arsenal will win the league. Journalist Henry Winter shared a quote from Arsene Wenger speaking at an event for the Twinning Project. Wenger said, and I want to read this carefully because it is important, he said he deeply believes Arsenal will win the league. He described it as common sense. He specifically mentioned the attacking combination of Eze, Odegaard, Havertz and Madueke, referencing their intent shown at the Etihad. He also stated that Manchester City will not make the perfect run. In now Wenger's words carry weight. He is not a random pundit. He is a man who built one of the greatest Arsenal sides in history and who understands this football club at its core. But let us be precise about what he actually said. He believes City will not be perfect. He is not saying Arsenal will win by default. He is saying the opportunity exists if Arsenal perform. His specific praise for Eze is fascinating. Eze is not an Arsenal player in the traditional sense. He came in as a loan from Crystal Palace, yet Wenger is including him in the same attacking breath as Odegaard and Havertz. That is a significant vote of confidence in what Arteta has built this season, even from a man who no longer has a direct connection to the club. Patrick Vieira on Arsenal vs Manchester City. The Arsenal News Hub account shared Patrick Vieira's assessment of Arsenal's 2-1 defeat to Manchester City. Vieira made 3 key points. He said the difference was simple. City were great in the key moments while Arsenal were just good. He said City's experience and winning mentality showed when it mattered most. He said it is now a real test for Arsenal to respond and finish the season strong. He also stated that the momentum is on City's side, that it is a huge disappointment for Arsenal and that he believes City will do it. Vieira's analysis here is measured and honest. He is not burying Arsenal, but he is not hiding from the reality either. The phrase he used, City were great, Arsenal were just good, is actually one of the most precise summaries of the title race dynamic this season. The reality for Arsenal is that being good is not always enough. Against the very best teams in the biggest moments, you have to be great. And in that Manchester City game, the evidence suggests Arsenal had the chances, created real danger, but City had the composure to win. Vieira is right about one thing above all else. This is now a mentality test. Arsenal know the pressure. They have finished runners-up before. The question is whether this group responds differently. Newcastle injury concerns ahead of Arsenal match. Arsenal Radar reported that Newcastle United are dealing with injury doubts ahead of their trip to Emirates Stadium. Anthony Gordon and Tino Livramento are both fitness concerns after picking up recent knocks, with their availability still uncertain. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe confirmed Gordon missed training due to injury and said his return is unclear. Livramento is also being assessed. Additionally, Joelinton is already ruled out through suspension. This is genuinely significant information for Saturday's match. Let us break down what it means. Gordon is Newcastle's most dangerous attacker. He is the player most likely to cause Arsenal's defence problems with his pace and directness. If he is unavailable, Newcastle's threat in behind is significantly reduced. Livramento is their right-back with energy and drive going forward. His absence would limit their attacking width on that side. And Joelinton, suspended, removes one of their most combative midfielders. He provides energy, aggression and a physical presence in their engine room. Combine all 3 potential absentees and Newcastle are walking into Emirates Stadium significantly weakened. For Arsenal, this is an opportunity not just to win 3 points, but to win them convincingly and apply pressure on Manchester City from the top of the table. Carragher analysis on Zubimendi for Cherki goal. Goal data Arsenal Zone shared. Jamie Carragher's tactical breakdown of Rayon Cherki's opening goal against Arsenal. Carragher explained that Zubimendi shadowed Cherki out to one side, going deep on the defender's toes and filling the half space. When the ball came across quickly, Zubimendi could not recover his position. With one less player to cover, Cherki had just enough space to operate. Carragher's conclusion was that Zubimendi went one side and simply could not get across to the other. This is a precise and damning piece of tactical analysis. What Carragher is describing is a fundamental defensive midfield error. The number 8 or number 6 in that role has one primary defensive responsibility: stay connected. Do not follow the ball so aggressively that you vacate the central area. Zubimendi is a Spanish international. He was signed specifically for these high-pressure moments. Yet in the biggest game of Arsenal's season, he made an error that led directly to the opening goal. The evidence suggests this was not a systemic failure from Arteta's setup. It was an individual decision by Zubimendi that cost Arsenal dearly. Tim Sherwood on the title race. Arsenal Buzz shared Tim Sherwood's assessment of the title race after Arsenal's defeat to Manchester City. Sherwood said he still thinks Arsenal are going to win the title. He pointed to City having the tougher run-in and said there are enough games where City could drop points. He also said the pressure is now off Arsenal in a strange way, comparing it to a boxing match. He said Arsenal are winning on points and now need to throw haymakers. He acknowledged City have momentum, but he noted he was impressed with Arsenal and felt they deserved a draw. He also specifically said that Kai Havertz had an easy header that he needed to score, and that if Havertz had scored, the game would have been over. Sherwood's boxing analogy is actually a useful one. Arsenal spent most of this season absorbing the pressure of being title favourites. Now that City have momentum, the pressure has partially shifted. Arsenal can be the challenger, which in some ways is a more comfortable position mentally, but the Havertz point is critical. A clear heading opportunity that goes unconverted in a 1-2 defeat is not just bad luck. It is the kind of decisive moment that separates champions from runners-up. The situation is that Arsenal created the chances. The evidence suggests the quality in the final moment was not there. That is the area that must improve immediately. Mikel Arteta under pressure, reports Matchday Central reported, citing Team Talk, that Mikel Arteta is under real pressure at Arsenal. The claim is that the club could make a significant decision this summer if results do not improve. Cesc Fabregas has reportedly been identified as a potential replacement and is already on the club's radar. Chelsea are also said to be interested in Fabregas's managerial philosophy. Now, I want to be very clear with you here. This is a report from a media outlet citing another media outlet. It is a rumour. It is not confirmed Arsenal Football Club policy. It is speculation, and I think it is important we treat it as such. What the situation does tell us is that the narrative around Arteta's future is growing louder in the media. Whether that narrative reflects reality inside the club is a completely different question. Nigel Winterburn, as we just covered, actively pushed back against this kind of talk. The reality for the club is that decisions about a manager of Arteta's standing are not made publicly or through media leaks. If Arsenal were seriously considering replacing Arteta, that conversation would happen internally and quietly, not through Team Talk headlines. File this one under rumour and speculation and move on. Ben White on training culture. Arsenal Radar shared Ben White's comments from Arsenal's official website. White said he plays against Gabriel Martinelli every day in training and that most of the time he does not want to go too near him, but he acknowledged they have to keep it competitive. He said there is an unwritten rule that you do not go in too hard on 50-50 challenges in training. He laughed and said you save those for the weekend. This is a small story, but it tells you something important about the culture inside Arsenal's training ground. There is a balance between intensity and protection. Players compete hard enough to stay sharp, but not so hard that they risk injuring teammates before matches. That balance is a sign of a mature, professional squad environment. It is also a sign of genuine mutual respect between players who understand the collective goal is more important than individual training dominance. 5 Arsenal players in FC 26 Premier League Team of the Season. Arsenal Radar reported that 5 Arsenal players have been included in the FC 26 Premier League Team of the Season. Those players are David Raya, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, Jurrien Timber and Declan Rice. 5 players. Let that land for a second. That is not a coincidence. That is a collective defensive and midfield excellence that has defined Arsenal's season. 3 of those 5 are defenders or goalkeepers, which tells you exactly why Arsenal have the defensive record they do in this league. Raya has been commanding in goal. Saliba and Gabriel have been arguably the best centre-back partnership in Europe this season. Timber has brought composure, versatility and energy from right-back. And Declan Rice has been one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season. The irony is that despite 5 players earning Team of the Season recognition, Arsenal are not yet champions. That is how fine the margins are at the very top of this division. Paul Scholes names Declan Rice as dream Manchester United signing. Arsenal Radar reported that Paul Scholes, speaking on the Good, the Bad and the Football podcast, named Declan Rice as his dream signing for Manchester United this summer. Scholes acknowledged he has previously criticised Rice, but said he believes Manchester United needs someone exactly like him, specifically a proper central midfielder. Now, let us be clear. This is Paul Scholes giving his personal opinion on a podcast. It is not a transfer offer. It is not a United approach. It is not anything more than a pundit's wish list. But the fact that Scholes, a man who has been publicly critical of Rice before, is now holding him up as the ideal solution for Manchester United speaks volumes. It means Rice's performances this season have been undeniable even to his critics. That is a significant level of recognition. For Arsenal supporters, the reaction should be straightforward. Rice is your player. He is performing at an elite level and the rest of the football world is noticing. Marcel Desailly publicly apologises to William Saliba. Goal data Arsenal Zone reported that Marcel Desailly issued a public apology to William Saliba. Desailly admitted he was wrong to doubt Saliba when he first emerged at Arsenal. Desailly said in recent interviews he has officially apologised to Saliba. He said he was not convinced at the start and was not pro-Saliba, but he said he is now genuinely pleased with what he has seen. He praised Saliba's consistency and his ability to stay focused on his defensive job. Desailly acknowledged that Saliba may not carry the ball forward the way Sergio Ramos could, but described him as a very good, very consistent defender, a World Cup winner, publicly admitting he was wrong about a young centre-back. That is not nothing. That is actually a meaningful validation. Saliba's journey at Arsenal has been one of patience and persistence. He spent loan spells away. He came back, he earned his place, and now one of the most decorated defenders in football history is issuing a formal apology for underestimating him. The evidence suggests Saliba has not just been good, he has silenced people who had no intention of being silenced. Carragher slams Zubimendi for winning goal. Goal data Arsenal Zone also shared Carragher's analysis of Man City's winning goal. This time the criticism is even sharper. Carragher compared Zubimendi to Rodri and Bernardo Silva, players with the courage to handle the ball in difficult situations in tough arenas. He said going for the league away at Manchester City is exactly the moment Zubimendi was bought for. He described it as not good enough. He also pointed out that Declan Rice prefers the left side of central midfield and urges Zubimendi to get across, but said Zubimendi simply did not have the legs to cover the ground required. This is a damning assessment. And combined with the earlier Carragher analysis on the first goal, a pattern is emerging. Zubimendi made positioning errors that led directly to both Manchester City goals in a 2-1 defeat. 2 goals, 2 Zubimendi errors. That is an undeniable fact. The situation is that Zubimendi arrived with enormous expectations, European champion, Spain international, technically gifted, but a Champions League pedigree does not automatically translate to Premier League readiness in the tightest moments. He still has time to correct this, but the scrutiny will not ease up. The evidence demands a response. Invincible Lauren on Max Daumann versus Antoine Semenyo. Arsenal News Channel reported that Invincible Lauren expressed happiness that Arsenal did not sign Antoine Semenyo in January. Lauren specifically asked why Arsenal would try to sign Semenyo when they have Max Daumann. He said there is nothing Semenyo can do that Daumann cannot do. He praised Daumann's quality, intelligence, shooting and ability to nick passes between the lines. He said Daumann should be in the England squad this summer and insisted the club needs to give him the right games and confidence to develop. Lauren is speaking from a place of genuine belief in homegrown talent. He was part of an era where Arsenal invested in certain players over time and were rewarded with greatness. His comparison of Daumann to Semenyo is a bold one, but it tells you something about how people close to the club view this young player. The important context here is that this was a January transfer decision. Arsenal chose not to spend money on an established option and instead backed their own academy product. Whether that proves to be the right decision will depend entirely on whether Arteta gives Daumann the game time Lauren is calling for. Ben Jacobs on Julian Alvarez inquiries. Journalist Ben Jacobs reported on January 23rd that several top clubs have made initial inquiries about Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Barcelona held a meeting via Deco. Arsenal have been made aware of Alvarez's situation. Jacobs was careful to note that these are exploratory talks and are not yet indicative of a direction of travel. He also reported that Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta has been making several calls to understand the summer market, specifically around forwards and left wingers. Additionally, Arsenal are one of several clubs alongside Barcelona, Real Madrid and Manchester United exploring a move for young talent Etta Ayong. Now, this is a January report. We are now past that date, so we have to treat the specific transfer details with awareness that the situation may have evolved. What the evidence does tell us is that Arsenal have been active in their scouting and market research around attacking positions. The focus on forwards and left wingers confirms that this is an area the club wants to strengthen. The interest in Alvarez, even at the exploratory stage, confirms that Arsenal are looking at elite-level options. Arsenal ready to adapt. Plans for Julian Alvarez transfer. News Live reported, citing Team Talk, that Arsenal are ready to adapt their plans to accommodate Julian Alvarez. The key detail here is that Alvarez is demanding a central striker role. Barcelona remain his preferred destination, but are facing financial difficulties, which is opening the door for Arsenal, Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. The report also claims Arsenal could sell Kai Havertz to make space for Alvarez as their main number 9. Atletico Madrid are expected to demand over €100 million for the Argentine. Let me be very direct about this. This is a report from Team Talk. It is a rumour. It is not confirmed. No fee has been agreed. No personal terms have been discussed publicly. No official bid has been made. What the situation does tell us is that the question of Arsenal's number 9 is an ongoing discussion. Havertz has had moments of brilliance this season, but has also missed significant chances, including the header Tim Sherwood highlighted after the Manchester City game. If Arsenal are seriously assessing their options in that position, it is a rational football conversation. But €100 million plus is an enormous fee, and any decision of that magnitude would not be confirmed through social media reports in the middle of a title race. Treat this as a rumour. Nothing more, nothing less. Barcelona join Arsenal in race for Palestra. Goal data. Arsenal Zone reported that Barcelona have joined Arsenal in the race to sign Palestra, a young defender from Atalanta, this summer. The defender is reportedly open to leaving Italy to continue his development. Barcelona are said to be moving quickly to prevent him from joining a rival club. The source cited is Mundo Deportivo. This is a transfer rumour. It is unconfirmed. Mundo Deportivo is a Barcelona-affiliated publication, which means their reports often reflect Barcelona's perspective. The involvement of Arsenal in this situation has not been confirmed by Arsenal themselves. What it does tell us is that Arsenal are being linked with young defensive talent, which aligns with their broader squad-building philosophy under Arteta of identifying technically strong young players with high development potential. Whether this specific rumour has substance will become clearer as the summer window approaches. Alan Shearer and the Newcastle situation. And this first one is genuinely worth spending real time on. Alan Shearer, speaking on the Rest is Football podcast, called Newcastle United absolutely terrible ahead of their trip to Emirates Stadium. He said it as a joke, but jokes carry truth in them. Gary Lineker and Micah Richards both erupted in laughter because everyone in football knows it is accurate. But beyond the comedy, Shearer's wider analysis is deeply serious. Newcastle have lost 8 home games in 11 attempts this season. They sit 14th in the Premier League with 5 games remaining. That is a catastrophic home record for a club that was in a cup final not long ago. And then Shearer went further. He said he does not see Eddie Howe in charge of Newcastle next season. He accused the players of throwing Howe under the bus with their performances. He said the summer will bring huge decisions for the club and that multiple moving parts need to align for Howe to stay. The evidence suggests Howe himself recognises the problems. After the Bournemouth defeat, he acknowledged that losing has become a pattern. A manager admitting publicly that defeat has become a pattern is a man under enormous pressure. For Arsenal, this is context that matters. Saturday's opponents are not just struggling, they are a club in structural and psychological crisis. Their key players may be missing, their manager's future is uncertain, and their home form has been one of the worst in the league this season. The situation is that Arsenal are facing the ideal opponent at the ideal moment. A winnable game at home against a side who are low in confidence, potentially without their best attackers and facing internal uncertainty. Arsenal must treat this fixture with the ruthlessness it deserves. Gary Neville on City's remaining fixtures. Gary Neville, speaking on his own podcast, gave a measured but honest assessment of what needs to happen for Arsenal to win the title. He identified Manchester City's away games at Everton and Bournemouth as the 2 most likely fixtures where City could drop points. He acknowledged that City's squad depth and current form makes them favourites to win every remaining game. But he noted Arsenal have the advantage of not leaving London in their final 5 games. Neville's analysis is important because it is not wishful thinking. He is not blindly backing Arsenal. He is identifying the specific conditions under which the title race remains open, and those conditions are real. Everton away and Bournemouth away are not easy fixtures for anyone. Both clubs have reasons to fight hard in their remaining games. Both venues are hostile for visiting teams. And City, despite their quality, are still a group of human beings who can have bad days. What the evidence suggests is that Arsenal's job is simple to describe but difficult to execute. Win their games, all of them, and if City drop points in either of those away fixtures, Arsenal must be positioned to take full advantage. The home fixtures Arsenal have remaining mean they will have full crowd support and the comfort of their own stadium for every remaining league game. That is a significant advantage in a title run in. The reality for the club is that the title is still possible. It requires near perfection from Arsenal and at least one stumble from City. That is the honest truth. But near perfection, starting Saturday against a struggling Newcastle side, is absolutely within Arsenal's capacity. Closing analysis and summary. Let me pull all of this together for you now. Arsenal are going into Saturday's home game against Newcastle in a complex but not hopeless position. Saka is close to returning. 5 of their players have been named in the team of the season. Wenger believes in them. Winterburn backs Arteta. and their opponents arrive at the Emirates wounded, depleted and demoralised. The concerns are real. Zubimendi made errors that cost Arsenal in the biggest game of their season. The debate around Arteta's substitutions is growing. Transfer rumours around Havertz and Alvarez suggest the club is already planning for the future, even as the present remains undecided. And through all of it, the title race remains alive. Not comfortable, not guaranteed, but alive. The evidence suggests Arsenal need three things from this point forward: clinical finishing, particularly from Havertz in the big moments, defensive discipline from Zubimendi in the high-press situations where he has been caught out, and collective belief that the lessons from the Manchester City defeat have been absorbed and applied. If you are an Arsenal supporter, the realistic position is this: your club is better equipped to win this title than at any point in over 20 years. The window is open. The opponent this Saturday is beatable, and the margin for error is thin, but it exists. That is the full picture. That is the honest analysis. And that is what this channel exists to give you every single week. If this breakdown helped you understand the full story, subscribe to Melissa Arsenal Analyst right now. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Share this with an Arsenal fan who needs the full picture and not just the headlines. This is Melissa Arsenal Analyst. See you in the next one.